Hello everybody. Thank you for joining us today for the webinar. My name is Nanjunda Prasad and I take care of product engineering at NxtGen. Over the course of this webinar, we'll be talking about one of our latest initiatives, the Developer Cloud, which is brought to you jointly with Intel. So I'll begin with a quick introduction of NxtGen. NxtGen is a leading provider of cloud services, and we compete with the hyperscale public cloud providers in the market. For the next few slides, I'll quickly take you through a few of the differentiators in our cloud offering. So one of the significant differentiators compared to the other cloud service providers in the market is our vision of infinite data center. With infinite data center, enterprises can choose to place their workloads either on-premise or host it out of our data centers or enable hybrid cloud scenarios while getting all the benefits of cloud like on-demand infrastructure, a pay-as-you-go model, and elastic infrastructure. So to begin with, NxtGen is the only cloud provider in the market to offer an on-premise cloud on the same model as a public cloud. Enterprises can choose to pay for the resources consumed on their premise while they get all the benefits of the cloud. This will especially help enterprises tackle particular use cases where infrastructure has to reside on-premise while enjoying the benefits of the cloud. Going forward, enterprises can also move their workloads to any one of our 9 data centers located in India and also enable hybrid use cases wherein they'll be able to manage IT infrastructure both on-premise as well as on the cloud through a single control panel. So this gives tremendous flexibility to the enterprise to enable hybrid use cases in cloud. And also going forward, they can also place any of their legacy infrastructure. If there are a lot of legacy IT infrastructure they already have, they can co-locate it or host it out of our data centers in India. We are by far, in terms of the sheer presence, we have one of the largest presence in India through our 9 data centers located across different points in India. And also with infinite data center, the customers can connect to a cloud nearest to them, which gives them a lot of flexibility to plan networking and also help optimize cost when connecting to the cloud. For multinational companies who have a presence outside India, we also enable placement of workloads outside of India through our partnership on Cloud Federation and also with Equinix. So for cloud workloads that needs to be placed in specific countries, you can also place it in a particular country and manage it through the same control panel. And also for co-location needs outside of India. So we work with Equinix and we could enable use cases where you could place your infrastructure at any one of Equinix data centers worldwide. So in a nutshell, infinite data center will provide customers with seemingly infinite resources on tap, which can be managed centrally through a single control panel, which gives unprecedented flexibility to the end user. Not just in terms of the deployment model, but the way we offer cloud services is also significantly different. In a way, we mirror how enterprises consume IT infrastructure today. So at the base of our service offering, we offer IT infrastructure services. So be it cloud infrastructure as a service, we provide cloud infrastructure on demand. We offer content delivery networks through our data centers located in India and also through our federation partners. And as I mentioned earlier, we offer data center services for co-locating your existing legacy infrastructure that you may have. So this forms the base of our offering, the IT infrastructure services. Moving forward, it is not just enough if IT teams enable IT infrastructure, they'll have to plan for continuity. So this forms the next layer of our services, where we offer IT continuity services such as backup as a service to back up your critical data. You can plan your disaster recovery scenarios through our disaster recovery as a service. Also, due to the sheer number of data centers that we have across the country and internationally, you can plan your disaster recovery scenarios as per your needs, depending on the specific use cases. We also offer data protection as a service, wherein you will be able to archive data for long-term use cases. There may be use cases where customers will need to archive data for a longer duration, such as 7 years or 21 years, depending on the vertical, which is catered through data protection as a service. We also offer a host of services around managed security. So you could go through different use cases in security, and we offer managed services around them. And it is not just enough to protect the enterprise servers. You will also need to protect the endpoints. Infinite Vault is an endpoint protection solution that is also offered as part of the IT continuity services. Moving ahead, today it is not just enough if IT is just an enabler. There's a whole lot of use cases wherein IT has to fill in the transformation needs to an enterprise. IT is moving from just being an enabler to a transformation provider. So around IT transformation, we offer insights as a service, wherein you can use all the data that you have brought onto the platform, bring in the visualization platform of your choice, and start deriving insights from the data that is there on the cloud platform. We also offer similar use cases around IoT. You can ingest data from all your IoT endpoints onto our infrastructure and start deriving meaningful insights from them. And also the significant portion on the IT transformation services is around artificial intelligence. This will be our core focus for the webinar today. Quickly moving ahead, the flexibility is not just in terms of the deployment model. With Infinite Data Center, we also plan to offer an integrated hybrid platform spanning different use cases. When I say use cases, across verticals, and also different segments, be it enterprises, government users, or small and medium businesses. So with Infinite Data Center, this presents a host of opportunities for developers who are keen to develop cutting-edge solutions across these verticals or segments. So not just in terms of simplicity and efficiency, we also continue to fare far better than the popular cloud providers in terms of price and performance also. Here you see a recent benchmark report that we have run with Cloud Spectator, which is an independent benchmarking agency. For more details, you could also visit our website to download a detailed report on the performance itself. So here what you could see is we are significantly better than the competition in both price and performance, thereby delivering tremendous value in the cloud, right? So this is a quick introduction to the NxtGen Cloud, since cloud is a core topic that we will be discussing today. So just moving on to the artificial intelligence bit. We keep reading and hearing about artificial intelligence through various platforms today. There's been lots of talk on artificial intelligence of late. But what does it mean to different stakeholders, be it developers, startups, or enterprises? There are a whole lot of developers that are who are trying to develop cutting-edge applications on artificial intelligence. A whole lot of startups who are coming up with solutions around artificial intelligence, and also enterprises who are kind of moving towards transformation and trying to build artificial intelligence use cases within their enterprise. So what does it mean to each of these stakeholders, right? And artificial intelligence is not just a single, what do you say? I mean, it's not just a single phrase, but you'll have to also pick the right streams. There are a whole lot of technologies around artificial intelligence today. So how do you pick the right streams? This is also a challenge that enterprises face today. So let's take a step back. Instead of focusing on the different technologies, let's take a step back and focus on the basics, right? So I've just put together a few of the building blocks that anybody has to go through to start their journey on artificial intelligence. One of the critical things required for artificial intelligence or any other application building is the core skills that you need, be it domain skills relating to the particular vertical that you are working on. There may be a whole lot of domain skills that are required before you start building applications, and also the complementary programming skills that you'll need for building the particular application. Moving on, you'll also have to make a choice of the appropriate tools, frameworks, or algorithms that will also cater to your particular domain. It is not very generic. You'll have to make specific choice of tools, frameworks, and algorithms that will help you address the use cases that you're trying to solve. And last but not the least, the compute infrastructure required to run all of these. Typically, developers or enterprises also have to make optimum choice of the compute infrastructure so that they could effectively run the applications that they build on artificial intelligence. Across these layers, what happens is for somebody who is looking to embark on the journey of artificial intelligence, each of these layers impose significant entry barriers for somebody to start their journey on artificial intelligence, be it skills, tools, frameworks, or compute infrastructure. Each layer on its own imposes significant challenges. So today, what is happening is, if somebody wants to embark on a journey of artificial intelligence, they'll have to go through different platforms to gain knowledge on each of these. There are platforms that give you particular inputs on the skills or the training piece of artificial intelligence. There are a lot of vendors on the tools, frameworks, and algorithms perspective itself. How do you choose the right tools and algorithms? And also the whole lot of compute infrastructure that is optimized to run your applications on AI. So this is imposing significant entry barriers to somebody to start their journey on artificial intelligence. But the need of the hour to spur development on artificial intelligence is to fuel AI innovation through democratization of AI. So what do you mean by democratization of AI? The need is to significantly lower these entry barriers across the different layers that I'm talking about, be it skills, tools, frameworks, algorithms, or the compute infrastructure itself, right? So one of the ways in which we could actually lower the entry barrier is by bringing the development of artificial intelligence application onto the cloud. So by bringing artificial intelligence development to the cloud, we can make the development of artificial intelligence application that much more elastic and scalable. So through the next slides, I'll be taking you through how the entry barriers can actually be lowered, right? So recently, in the second week of August, NxtGen, along with Intel, we launched a platform called the Developer Cloud, wherein the cutting-edge cloud infrastructure is brought to you by NxtGen, and the significant improvements in terms of the tools, algorithms, and frameworks are brought to you by Intel, and together we offer a platform called Developer Cloud, where you can come in and start bringing in your artificial intelligence use cases, start working on these artificial intelligence use cases, and also go ahead and deploy them on this particular platform. This is supposed to be an all-encompassing platform where you not only learn more about artificial intelligence, but you will go ahead, build and deploy your artificial intelligence workloads for your particular vertical, right? So how do we actually democratize AI development? Like I said, at the compute infrastructure level, we bring resources that are optimized to run your AI workloads that is being handled by NxtGen. So all the benefits that you saw in the earlier slides in terms of on-demand, pay-per-use, elastic resources that are specifically tailor-made to run your workloads are brought to you by NxtGen. So these are not just a normal cloud infrastructure that you get, but you also get specific infrastructure like KNL clusters to run your training needs, be it your inference nodes. All of these are brought to you by NxtGen. Moving ahead, the choice of tools and frameworks and algorithms are also optimized to run on this underlying hardware, be it Intel Parallel Studio XE, System Studio, the various development platforms that you need, or the frameworks, be it TensorFlow, Caffe, Theano, or Spark, which is optimized to run on these particular hardware, is also brought to you on the DevCloud by Intel. Not just the tools, frameworks, algorithms, and the compute infrastructure, we also want to go ahead and create a knowledge base on Developer Cloud for getting you started on artificial intelligence. So periodically we'll be bringing you tutorials, videos, and in a short while from now we'll also be enabling a forum where you could post your queries that you may have on building your AI application, and we will guide you through the platform itself and how you could get started and get your workloads onto the developer cloud. So in a nutshell, developer cloud will be a one-stop platform for all your artificial intelligence need, be it an individual developer, a startup that is planning to get started on artificial intelligence, or a mature enterprise that already has significant use cases around artificial intelligence. So we want to make this all-encompassing and bring all of this on to the developer cloud. For those of you who would like to get further details on the developer cloud, I have also put the URL for DevCloud. You could visit our website devcloud.nextgen.com and also register to start using the platform itself. So quickly wrapping up, as I said, with NextGen and Intel DevCloud, we want to enable your journey towards artificial intelligence innovation, and we want to be your partner in this journey by enabling you to get started on artificial intelligence. So we welcome all of you to visit our website and sign up for DevCloud. So I'm just putting together a few pictures from the launch event that happened recently on August 12th. Here you could see our MD of NextGen, Mr. A.S. Rajgopal, and the Intel India MD, Mr. Prakash Malia, at the launch event. We also had a booth here wherein we provided a demonstration of the artificial intelligence platform. Also quickly put together a few press releases that also were part of the launch here. So this was a quick introduction of the NextGen Developer Cloud. We'll be proceeding further on to the technical details of the Developer Cloud.
Thank you, Prasad, for the overview. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for attending this webinar. My name is Karthik Manoja. I'm a solution architect responsible for driving big data analytics and data center technology adoption among cloud service providers and Intel. So I'll be giving you a quick overview of the Dev Cloud architecture, AI cloud architecture. So as you all know, AI is a buzzword these days, right? But it's not that of a straightforward thing. Any developer can come in and start, working on the cutting edge technology and start building. So there are a lot of complexities involved. So before jumping into the architecture, what our goal was to make it easier as much possible for the developers, so that figuring out a way to that logistics barrier can be reduced. A user or developer needs only focus on the actual use case or the application he or she is building, instead of focusing on how to set something up, how to take care of infrastructure, be it software stack. There's a huge software stack. So at the same time, providing optimized software frameworks to the developers who are coming in. So let me jump to the architecture side. So as you can see on your screen is a Dev Cloud architecture. As I mentioned, the goal was to make it easier for the developer, and the biggest challenge that we were facing over here is how to make it available for multiple users. How multiple users will be able to access it at the same time. As virtualization is not that directly supported. So what would be the things that we can use, to make it easily accessible for the developers and users who are onboarding over here? How to make the experience better? So we thought of we didn't reinvent the wheel over here. Instead, we went ahead with the approach of using a scheduler. Like it's available in HPC days since a long time. So we thought, why not start from there instead of reinventing the wheel. So in our case, as you could see in this diagram, the center portion, it is called as bare metal, mentioned as bare metal scheduler server. It's running on a server, and we have used the Talk scheduler over here. This is an open source scheduler, and there are multiple schedulers available for HPC AI workloads where they're not intelligence scheduler as such, though we are using it for artificial intelligence, but they don't have intelligence of their own. It's like a straightforward scheduler. You instruct the scheduler, you provide configuration, etc., and they perform the task that what they have been configured to do. So in this scenario, we use a doc scheduler. For there are other schedulers also available in the market known as Slurm. Again, they're open source. So we went ahead with this because we had experience setting this up. And as you could see, as Prasad was talking to you about, user would be getting registers on, once a user registers on the DevCloud, he'll be getting access to the, this whole infrastructure. So once user gets the, IP address and the login credentials, he'll be logging in the virtual machines. On the left-hand side, as you can see, there are as a pool of virtual machines. A user will essentially be logging into here, and this is going to be his landing zone, and this is going to be the place from where the job should be fired. And there are two NFS mounts that we have provided over here. One is the public mount, where all the software stack, tools, your SDKs, and your frameworks are installed, so that user don't have to bother about installing those big frameworks. So it's all been installed over there. It's been optimized. So when the developer on board comes in here, he or she can just use that and fire a job. The next mount that's available over here is the mount number 2, which is user's private mount. So essentially, when we have to train or you have to write a code, we need to have some private space. So this is a space where you can put in your code, write your code, keep your data set over here, because essentially you will be training the model with some data set. So you can keep your data over here. But the beauty over here is your essentially job is not going to run the virtual machine. That is being run on the towards the right side of the screen. You can see training node and inference node. As you're aware, when you talk about AI job or deep learning, there are two aspects. Right? One is training the model, and the next is inference, running that model. So once you're training the model, there are multiple iterations. So we have different dedicated hardware which is specialized for your training needs. And again, we are using, I'll give a brief what we have used for inference, Intel Xeon processor being one thing, and we'll be using the deep learning inference accelerator, which is specifically optimized for such kind of use cases. And so how user experience is going to be, user logs into the VM, his private space, all the options, frameworks are available. He or she can select which framework he wants to use. There are currently two frameworks available as of now. One is TensorFlow and the other is Caffe. They are highly common frameworks and very commonly used in the market. So these are the options available, and user don't have to go to any other node to fire a job. So there are commands, client packages are installed on the VM itself. So user can simply fire the commands to fire jobs with the desired queue if he wants to do a training and if he wants to run inference. I'll go into those details in the next slide. But this is how the setup has been done. So for user, he has to just come into the machine, and he can just simply start firing the AI job from a single virtual machine that he or she will be getting. Okay, so as I talked about in my previous slide, there are two things, right? Training and inference. For the training, we are using Intel Xeon Phi, code named Night Standing KNL. As Prasad also talked about, we are using KNL for training. So what benefit it brings to the table is, as you can see on the screen, it's optimized specifically for HPC and AI workloads. And this is designed in such a way that it is, very optimized for running your training needs. So we are advising or preferring users to, train their models in these hardwares. And how you can do that is by providing a simple queue option. I'll be coming to that detail in the next slide, how to use this hardware. Just provide a queue option, and your job will be fired to this dedicated hardware. So what it brings to the table is it has got its own self-boot processor, which is binary compatible with Xeon, so that you don't have to go, programming remains the same. And most of the data centers, Intel Xeon. And this also, for training needs also, it's the same. So it uses the same programming model as Intel Xeon, which is x86. And other important aspect is it has got its own package memory. So I'll be talking a little bit detail in the upcoming slide. What do you mean by on package memory? So it has got around 16 GB of on-chip memory. And so with this comes in handy when you have to train your model, and that model can fit into the memory for faster execution. So this is again very important feature for performance. Again, it's a standard thing. Platform memory supports around 384 gigabytes with 6-channel DDR4 at 2400 megahertz. And other feature includes 2D mesh architecture. It also supports Intel AVX 512 instructions. It comes with integrated fabric, omnipath architecture. So these are a few things, and a glimpse that I'm talking about over here. As you could see on the side, it reduces the total costs of ownership, optimized for HPC and AI, as we already talked about, and it complements Intel Xeon with using the same common programming model. And so next aspect that I was mentioning in the architecture slide is the deep learning inference accelerator. So what this essentially is it's a PCI. First of all, it's a PCI-based card that can fit into any PCI slot, and it is FPGA. It's a FPGA Area 10 card available in PCI form factor, and this is specifically designed for running inference. So basically, this is a turnkey solution where it's like a plug and play kind of thing. So it automatically comes with a preloaded set of softwares, because essentially what happens in FPGA is one has to hardwarely program that FPGA for using it. But in this scenario, it's specifically used for image recognition and computer vision examples, and this is designed for running inference. So it comes with optimized deep learning frameworks, and it also comes with your math kernel library for deep neural networks. It has got Caffe integration inbuilt, and it also contains some pre-modeled topologies out of the box, which is AlexNet and GoogleNet. So if one wants to use either of these models, it doesn't have to go anywhere. It already comes with these capabilities. So it's mostly like a plug and play thing. So a developer when to use this, it don't have to bother about setting up all those installing and where to get all these optimized things. And it offloads or load from CPU to FPGA for faster running inference faster. Okay, so now coming back to the user VM experience, the architecture stuff. So what is happening over here for a user is, as I mentioned, user will be getting his own dedicated VM. So what is going to be there in that VM for the user? So we have deployed CentOS 7.3 in that VM, next is user is going to have two NFS mounts, as I mentioned that architecture already. One is for where the packages, software libraries, and frameworks would be installed. So that can be that mount was going to have read and execute permissions for everybody who is coming on board to the developer cloud. He or she will be having access to that space, and that space will be updated as we go. So for now, it may have n number of capabilities, but as we go, and based on the user interest, queries, and requests, it will keep on updating. The next mount, as I mentioned, it is for user's private mount. Each user will be having its private directory where he can keep his data, his code, so that code is available on the user VM, and that at the same time, once you have to fire a job is essentially going to run on compute node. That code or data set would be available on the compute node also, because that is being mounted on all the machines, the compute nodes and the user VM. And next is, I was talking, user doesn't have to go anywhere to fire a job, right? So there are scheduler client packages installed on the VM, so that job can be fired from there. And qsub and qsat are the commands which are used to fire the job to a cluster. It's a scheduler command, and qstat is where you can check the status of the job. So it's like there will be a lot of we have kept for easier, better understanding. We have placed sample scripts on a public mount which is accessible by all the users who will be coming on board, so that user can understand how to fire a job, or how to use the DevCloud. So what are the export? Because there are a couple of things, right? When you need to export the environment variables and things like that, which framework to use, how to specify queue name, as we're talking about multiple queues options available, how to use all those things. There are sample scripts placed over there with the proper comments for better understanding. A user can come in and access those, and he'll or she will get the experience how to fire the job. And you can even simply, fire that job also, and you'll see, okay, this has been fired, and you can make your modifications as appropriate. Okay, so now coming to the scheduling options, presently we have 3 queues, and we are planning to add other 2 queues, DLIA capabilities and Perly, which is Intel's latest Xeon scalable family, which was recently announced, as Prasad was sharing the picture. That was the launch day event. So those will be available soon. But right now we have, as I was talking about, on-package memory, if you remember, and the KNL has on-package memory. So we have enabled KNL flat, KNL cache, and Broadwell queue at the moment. Flat is like as I was talking, if your model can, in this method, like memory mode is in BIOS is set to flat. So what happens is like in the KNL machine. So what happens is if your model can fit into 16 GB of 8 to 16 GB, and it's a size of 8 to 16 GB, it can fit into that memory, and that memory is relatively very fast. So like it has around 450 Gbps instead of your DRAM, which is somewhere around close to 90. So you will get around 5 times of a performance difference. So it's good to, when you know the size of the model is going to be, can fit into this memory, it's good to go for this option. And other than that, you can use the standard for training cache option while providing the queue options. And the last is Intel Broadwell. It's this is optimized to run variety of workloads, and in our scenario, you can use this for running inference. Okay, so lastly, there are as I mentioned about the public mount, read-only mount for the user, read and execute mount for user. So what are its capabilities and content? It has got Intel optimized Caffe framework. It has got Intel optimized TensorFlow, and it has got some sample scripts over here, which you can use and modify for your ease, and so that will let you familiarize with the environment. Next, we have is Intel distribution of Python, Intel math kernel libraries for deep neural networks, and there are developer tools, libraries, and packages. And as I mentioned, this space is going to be updated as we go further. So I would like to stop here, and I would like to hand over to Naveen from here, who will be talking about the tools and frameworks in detail.
Okay, thank you, Karthik. Hi, I'm Naveen from Intel Software team. And let's start looking into the various applications, various software tools, as well as frameworks which are available as a part of the DevCloud. So Nanjunda Prasad has talked about the importance of the developer cloud and what exactly NxtGen is offering for the enterprise application developer. And also just now Karthik has explained very well about the internal architecture and how to use the DevCloud. And in my presentation, I will be focusing on there are several frameworks as well as software libraries and various software tools are available as a part of the DevCloud. So what is the reason we have added all these software tools and framework as a part of the DevCloud is mainly because of great architecture like a KNL architecture as well as a Skylake, Xeon scalable processor, which are available as a part of the DevCloud. But how to take advantage of this great architecture? Because nowadays what is happening is developers are facing a lot of challenges. I have listed only 4 challenges, mainly like how to take advantage of the complete vector instructions which are available in the underlying architecture. Because Intel is keep adding more and more vector length into the architecture. But how to take advantage of your AI applications? Similarly, how to make sure that core utilization is maximum. That means you are utilizing the complete core which are available in the underlying architecture. And also, you have to make sure that there will be no cache blocking in your application, as well as you are prefetching all the instructions data effectively from your applications. And also, other than that, there are many other architecture features are available. So we have to take advantage of all these blocks while designing while developing the application itself. So to address these challenges, we have many frameworks as well as many optimized frameworks as well as software tools are available from Intel. So in this slide, if you see the bottom of this slide, there is a hardware layer. That is the first layer. Intel has got a great hardware, Xeon 5, and many more memory, storage, as well as networking components and blocks are available from Intel. On top of that, very important thing is Intel libraries are available. One is Intel distribution of Python, and second is Intel data analytic acceleration library, and third one is Intel math kernel library along with the MKL DN and deep neural network functionalities. So all these libraries are available as a part of the DevCloud itself. That means as an application developer, if you are building your applications with, for example, Intel Python distribution, then you can run your applications and you can build with all the Intel optimized distribution of Python, and you will get a maximum performance benefit out of the developer cloud. That means you will be taking advantage of the Intel KNL architecture as well as the Intel Skylake architecture. So along with that, even there are many frameworks are available, and we are still working on it, and we are adding more and more framework as a part of the DevCloud. For example, if you are using the Cafe as your framework to build your application, then Intel has optimized the Cafe itself, and it will give you the maximum performance benefit on the KNL architecture as well as on the Xeon architectures. So you don't need to modify anything from your applications. So just to deploy your application on the DevCloud, and you will get a maximum performance benefit because it will take the advantage of the Intel optimized Cafe. See, same is true for other framework as well, like a Theano or Torch or TensorFlow, and some of the frameworks already available. Remaining one we are working with the NxtGen to add into as a part of the DevCloud itself. So like this, various optimized frameworks are available from Intel, and various software libraries are available from Intel, which are part of the NxtGen cloud itself. So this is if you are developing the AI application, that means machine learning as well as deep learning or deep neural network applications. So what will happen? For example, if you are developing some other high performance applications or some kind of image processing or these type of applications. So for those developer also, we have added a complete Intel Parallel Studio tool suite as a part of the DevCloud itself. So Parallel Studio is a end-to-end developer tools to build your C, C++, Fortran or the Python applications. So if you see this slide, let me spend a little bit time from the Intel distribution for Python. This Intel, as you know that Python is a open source programming language. But Intel distribution for Python is a binary distribution of Python interpreter and commonly used packages for computation and data intensive applications. That means if you are aware of that NumPy, numerical Python, scientific Python, scikit-learn, and along with that MPI4 Python for the distributed computing, and Cython, Numba, and Jupyter Notebook, everything we have optimized using the software libraries. So all these frameworks, all these packages are available as a part of the Intel distribution for Python. And these packages will take the advantage of the underlying architecture in the DevCloud, both KNL as well as the Xeon. So that is the reason what we are recommending is, instead of optimizing your applications, Python applications, using the various tools or the various frameworks or various performance analysis tools, we are recommending to use the Intel optimized one, which is available as a part of the GitHub as well as on the Anaconda. But for the DevCloud users, it is already preloaded onto the developer code, and you can directly call the NumPy FFT functions or the scikit various mathematical or the numerical functions. On top of that, Intel C, C++ compiler is available, Fortran compiler is available to build your application to extract the maximum performance of the underlying architecture. So beauty of Intel compiler is that it will generate the best instruction set on the Intel architecture, and it will it has got various switches, and you can use any of these switches to build the instruction set or generate the various instructions for the different architecture itself, along with the various optimization techniques. And on top of that, libraries are available: DAL library, math kernel library, Intel threading building blocks, as well as the MPI library and integrated performance primitives to build your application. So how to make sure that DevCloud whatever applications you are putting on the DevCloud, you are utilizing the complete architectural features. There is a tool from Intel, it's called Intel vTune Amplifier. It will help you to identify the bottleneck of your applications, both aspects, like one is algorithmic as well as on the architecture level. How effectively you are utilizing the underlying cache in the DevCloud, for example, L1 cache or L2 cache or a shared cache like that. So you can identify using the vTune Amplifier, which is part of the DevCloud, and also it has got a various other features, and you can explore the various options available as a part of the vTune Amplifier tool suite. It has got a standalone GUI as well. And other than that, I was talking about the vectorization unit and how to make sure that my application is taking the complete advantage of the vector length which is available in the underlying architecture. It could be like a 128-bit or the 256-bit vector length. Vector Advisor is a one tool which is available on the DevCloud. You can analyze your applications, how effectively you are utilizing the vectorization unit in the underlying architecture, and how much performance you would get it when you increase the vector length, and what are the issues you could face while increasing the vector length. So like this, you can do the experiment of vectorization using the Vector Advisor, which is part of the Parallel Studio tool suite. And other than that, the cluster checker is available to diagnose the health of the cluster, as well as the trace analyzer, trace collector, MPI profiler. There are various components are available as a part of the complete Parallel Studio tool suite itself. Okay, so there are two options. One is like a frameworks are available. Second is complete Parallel Studio tool suite is available, and we will be adding more and more tools as a part of the DevCloud itself to help you to get the maximum performance benefit, as well as to optimize your application on the cloud. I'll spend a little bit more in time on the developer libraries like Intel performance libraries. One is a math kernel library. Like if you are building your applications like a scientific application, or it could be engineering, financial, or any other applications. So there are a lot of mathematical routines we have accelerated and added as a part of this library. Like for example, linear algebraic functionalities are available. Similarly, fast Fourier transform with the various dimensions like a 2D, 3D, or up to 7-dimensional. And similarly, recently we have added a deep neural network functionalities. And also for the finance customer, we have a vector statistical library as well as vector mathematical libraries are available. Other than that, popular solvers are available as a part of the math kernel library. So reason I am mentioning little more about math kernel libraries, we have optimized the Intel Cafe, Intel Theano, all these AI frameworks using the math kernel library itself. And along with that, sometimes we have used the Intel Data Analytical Acceleration library. Intel DAL is a one library which will help you to create the complete pipeline of the machine learning. Start from the pre-processing of the data to the decision making. Various stages of the pipeline of the ML you can create using the DAL library itself. And another important thing about the DAL library is you can integrate your complete framework with different platforms like a Hadoop platform, or it could be Spark, or MATLAB as well. So it has got a functionalities for the transformation, analysis, as well as modeling and validation and the decision making. And other than that, integrated performance primitives, if you are doing the signal processing, image classifications, or the data compressions, or the secret key generation, or some kind of cryptography functionalities, it has got a optimized functions for all these domains. And along with that, as I said, Intel distribution of Python also available. So you can take advantage of the various FFT functionalities which are available as a part of the NumPy or the scikit-learn, or you can use the Jupyter Notebook, everything which are available as a part of the libraries. Okay, we are using these libraries to optimize the various AI framework like a Cafe, Theano, and all. So how to get these libraries? As I said, already these libraries are part of the developer cloud, and if you want to explore on your system itself, like before deploying or before getting access to the developer cloud, you can try it out all these software tools and as well as the various frameworks. For example, Parallel Studio is available on the software.intel.com. If you go there, you will get a evaluation version of the Parallel Studio. Similarly, Python distribution also available. And along with that, TensorFlow, Cafe, and Theano, all these are available as a part of the GitHub itself. So I have shared few links and about the detailed information of the framework as well, how to use the Cafe or how to use the Theon or TensorFlow. So we have documented in the Intel Developer Zone, and also Parallel Studio as well as the various training. For example, if you want to explore about the Intel distribution of Python or the math kernel library packages. So there are a lot of training videos are available, and we will be uploading all these videos as a part of the Developer Cloud as well. Once if you get access to the Developer Cloud, you will get access to the tools, training materials, various case studies, white papers, everything in the single window itself. Okay. So this is about the brief information about the complete application stack, like complete frameworks as well as software libraries which are available as a part of the Developer Cloud. Okay, so now let's take up the few questions, and feel free to submit the question in the chat window. Prasad and Karthik and myself will take up the few questions. Okay. Let me start with the first questions to Karthik. Karthik, I have got a question from the attendees like, how are the resources are allocated to the jobs filed on this Developer Cloud?
Sure. Thanks, Naveen. I'll just go ahead with this question. So as I mentioned, we are using a scheduler in this scenario. So once the user fires a job, so that has been assigned to the scheduler, and from the scheduler it goes to a specified queue. Whatever option user has provided, maybe it could be KNL flat or KNL cache or Broadwell. It goes to a dedicated queue, and after going to that queue, once the resources are available, it goes to that particular hardware and run. So basically, it's a first in, first out execution, and all the jobs are batch jobs. So once the user fires a job, he can go out, grab a coffee or something, come back and check the status of the job. Also, on top of that, for better utilization of resources, we have set up a vault time so that each user would get a fair share of the hardware resources.
Okay, thanks, Karthik. Okay, so another good question is about can I download any other software or packages if it is not available as a part of the VM or the public mount?
Yes. There's like in the VM also we are providing user the capability to download the packages. He or she will be having the access. At the same time, if there is a particular software or library, for example, Intel, DAL, or Big Deal, that user wants to have it, and it's one of the commonly used, which will be used by many developers. He or she can drop a note. There is a contact information available on the DevCloud. They can drop a note, and we can even make it available in the public mount so that user don't have to, adjust on the space of that particular software in their private space, and that will be available in that public space.
Okay, good. I think I have got almost like questions similar to this. One of the attendees asking about how to get access for the previous version of or different versions of the packages or the Intel software tools. So that's what currently latest version of the Parallel Studio or the frameworks which is available as a part of the DevCloud. That is the latest version of Parallel Studio is the 2017 update 4. And if you are built your application with the previous version of any compiler or the libraries, you can download it from the Intel website. So for that you need to have an Intel software tool license. Then as Karthik said, you can mount it on the VM or the public mount itself. So we will help you for that. So, but it is possible. You can use your application which are built using the previous or different versions of the software tools or the framework. That's possible. Thank you. And okay, let me take up. I'm getting a lot of questions. And Karthik, there is one question: how to create a multiple VMs using any tools? So Prasad or Karthik, you want to answer? Okay, Karthik.
In this scenario, a user won't be able to create a VM over here. So as essentially, NxtGen team, once a user is going to register for DevCloud, and once the registration formalities are complete, user will be getting an email from NxtGen, which will have the VM IP address details as well as the login credentials, and user will be logging into that particular VM. So, and as I mentioned, that VM is the space, landing zone or the space for user from which he or she will be firing a job. And like it's the infrastructure is managed by NxtGen over here, and user won't be able to, spin up another VM, or if that's the question.
Yeah, basically, it will not be required to spin up any VMs. Everything is part of the VM that is being handed over, and they can actually build and run their applications on that particular VM.
Okay, thank you. Next question is about the framework again. So we talked about the various framework like Cafe, Theano, and TensorFlow and all these things. So one of the attendees asking all these frameworks, basically it runs on the multi-node or it is a single node? What is the current capabilities? Karthik, can you answer this?
Yeah, sure. So right now it's like like these are optimized for multi-nodes also, but as currently we are only supporting single node capabilities. So multi-node may be available in the future, but at this present time, it's available on single node capabilities are supported.
Okay. And Prasad, one question is about, we talked about the workflow and how to use the various mode, everything. All these informations, like is there any in details documents, user manual will be available as a part of the DevCloud? Because one of the attendees is asking they need a little bit in-depth information about usage of the DevCloud.
Sure. So the way we have done it currently is on the landing page itself. We have various sections, be it artificial intelligence, machine learning, or deep learning, and we have classified resources as per that. So going forward, we'll also be adding webinars that may happen in that particular space, or training tutorials and related documentation onto the developer cloud landing page itself. So whatever is currently available is already there, but we'll also be reinforcing the site with additional content. So you'll have all the content that we've been talking about today on the DevCloud landing page.
Sure. Thank you. Let me take up one more question. And there is one question about the software libraries. Basically, attendees are asking about the redistributal of redistributable libraries of DAL is available as a part of the DevCloud or not. So answer to this question is yes, because once if we install DAL library, data analytical acceleration library, or even math kernel library, even IPP library as well. So redistributable libraries are available in the installation package itself. We have clearly specified these are the libraries you can redistribute as a part of your application package itself. So you are free to distribute as per the Intel end user license agreement software that you will accept while installing the software itself. In this scenario on DevCloud, we have installed the software tools and we have accepted the end user license agreement. So you can free to redistribute any of these library packages which are available in the installation folder under that redistribution subfolder. Okay. And next question is one second. Karthik, one question is how to select if I want to use a KNL or the Xeon. Is there any options to choose for the end user?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, like from the user VM where there are sample scripts placed. So there are 3 queues available at the moment. One is KNL flat, KNL cache, and BDW. So if a user selects BDW, the job will be going to the Intel Xeon Broadwell queue. And if a user selects other 2, KNL flat or KNL cache, the job is going to run on the Xeon 5 processor with the appropriate memory settings. So that there are queues queuing option available. So depending on whichever queue a user selects, job is going to be run on the desired hardware.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Prasad, there is one more question. NxtGen is now set up a great infrastructure for the cloud users. But what is the service model we are planning?
Sure. I think there are a few questions around the commercial model itself. Is it free or how do we get on to the developer cloud? So currently, as it stands, the developer cloud is free. I mean, we are offering developer cloud free to anybody who will come in. But there is a caveat to this. So you'll have to, anybody who wants to register can come ahead to the developer cloud website and then register themselves. As a process, what we have is we'll be sending you a questionnaire where you'll have to give details about what application you're trying to build, what is the use case that you're trying to address, and what is the resource requirement that you are looking at. So the post review of this questionnaire, we'll be handing over the platform for your use. So in the initial bit, as we go through this flow, I mean, currently as it stands, it is free to use. But there is a process that you'll have to go through, which you can go ahead from the developer cloud landing page.
Okay. And also, Prasad, can you mention what is the website once again, if you?
Sure. I'll repeat the URL. It is devcloud.nextgen.com. So.
Okay, so if you have any additional questions or if you want to know more about this DevCloud, and also we will be uploading this webinar as well as presentation materials, training videos as a part of the DevCloud itself. So visit the website and ask us if you have any questions about the usage of the DevCloud itself. Okay. I will take a last question. 1 minute. So Karthik, do you know that some of them are asking, can I deploy .NET based applications on this?
So this is at the moment it's been we are emphasized on AI developer cloud for artificial intelligence. So as Prasad mentioned, once the user sends a request, he has to give details about the use case, what is going to build. So I doubt .NET at this point will not be separate. It's basically catered to just AI portion. Prasad, correct me if I'm wrong over here.
Yes, I think that is true, Karthik, because that is the main intention of Intel as well as NextGen.
Yeah.
And we have added all these AI-related frameworks and the libraries are a part of the NextGen cloud. So first preference I will give it for the AI-related applications to run it on the DevCloud. Okay, so thank you very much for attending. Prasad, you want to say?
No. So thank you all for attending this webinar. Like I mentioned, I want to reiterate, we want to make DevCloud one-stop shop for all your AI-related needs. In the coming days, we'll be putting more structure to the DevCloud landing page itself. So a lot of questions were around how do I get started? I'm new to artificial intelligence. How do I get the basics of artificial intelligence and all of that? So we'll be putting detailed tutorials there. If you're a newbie who is beginning to explore opportunities on artificial intelligence, or you are somebody who already kickstarted and building applications or on artificial intelligence, or if you're a mature user who is already doing a lot of stuff on AI, Developer Cloud will be the one-stop shop for all your needs. So we want to make it like truly integrated platform for anybody irrespective of their level of learning on artificial intelligence. So thank you all for joining today.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.